All right, everyone, thought we'd take you back to 1988. So I'm going to tell some stories of days of old. How fun is that? So a million years ago, in the days for health and safety, this is. Seems like you can go to Bloodstock and stuff like that now, and everyone's got pyro, and you can spend your money and you get those nice jets of flame going up, and everyone looks like Rammstein. But it wasn't like that, not back then. So when we started, very first started, we had these grandiose ideas that we wanted to be like Venom and blow the shit out of everything we could. So that'd be fun. So we started to play with pyros, but not like pyros like you lot know. So right back at the start, I think we played a place called the Yorker, which is in Nottingham, and it's just a pub. You played in the room upstairs, no stage, set up on the floor, and it's where all the hardcore bands were playing. So we played there. It's where our first show was actually. Concrete Socks, Heresy, saw all those kind of bands in there. And it was proper dirty and scuzzy and next to the BBC. So the first thing we did, and probably the clues at this point, we went to The Joke Shop, which was a shop on Chesterfield Road in Mansfield. And you could buy, obviously, hilarious joke stuff, but you could buy stage pyrotechnics in there as well. So, you know, with the limited budget we had, which was probably about 14 pence, we bought smoke bombs. We thought it'd be good, and we're going to like have this like amazing stuff going on. So we bought these smoke bombs, and you stuck them in an ashtray, and you set them on fire, and that was going to be a jolly old good wheeze, and probably like make us look like Sisters of Mercy or something like that. Well, this place wasn't very big, and these smoke bombs went off, and probably within about 50 seconds. You couldn't see that far in front of your nose. I mean, literally, the place was like a blackout of smoke, and it was insane. And all I seem to remember was trying to step forwards, and there was some poor bloke down on the floor, and we thought he was interfering with the equipment. So you did what any decent person would do, and you gave him a kick in the ribs really quite hard. Anyway, it turned out the poor fellow was having an asthma attack. So if you're watching this, I'm really sorry about that. But anyway, it was carnage. Nobody could see anything. People were trying to get to the doors, trying to get the way out. And the pub were desperately trying to get windows open. And before we know it, there's a load of blues and twos outside. And the gig's cancelled. Fire brigade are there, and there you go. That was our foray start with just smoke bombs. So that was a bit of fun. But then we thought we'd sort of step up. So I'm guessing this is 88. And we played, for anybody who remembers it, the University of Sheffield. And it's called the Refectory. So you just played in the dining hall, basically. But everybody was playing there. All the bands were playing at this place. And it had got this makeshift stage in the corner, sort of bolted it together, and away it went. So by this point, we thought we were like going to live the dream. Not vodka, by the way. I look like Crusher at this point, don't I? It's water. So we thought we'd go for the full-on pyro thing this time. And we had a guy called Miggy, who used to drive the van for us. He was a bit potty, was Miggy. And he came up with this idea that if you bought these things called flash pots, and they were just magnesium, and they just went, think of the start of Rothschild's Stack Attack video. They were really quite pathetic, but a little flash, little pop, and a bit of smoke, right? So he came up with this idea. If you got one of these big cardboard tubes, think of big poster tubes, got one of them, stuck some of these flash bombs in the bottom, then get a paint lid tin that fitted inside and ram it down so it compressed this flash bomb, and then fill the tube full of grass cuttings, obviously where we were going, wasn't it? We were going to make this exploding grass cannon, right? That was the idea. So we did that. So we set up this tube, attached it to a car battery, I think, and did that, and thought it'd be great. Obviously not thinking this through when you're 18 years old, do you? And we're going to have this big moment, and there's going to be like grass is going to spray all over the audience, right? So the reality, not having done the physics behind this, yes, they did indeed compress and therefore implode rather than explode. This paint tin lid came out at such velocity out of this tube you had like the roof in the refectory, and we took the roof out basically straight through the tiles, straight up through the roof, and God knows what would have happened if anybody's head or face had been in the middle of it. So option number 2, we're going well at this point, aren't we? Blues and twos at the first one, taking the roof out on the second one. So we're quite chuffed with ourselves, to be perfectly honest. I used to blow a hole in Sheffield Uni's roof, so that's not a bad start, was it? So the final one. This is the last time that we use pyro. And still, again, probably end of 88, might have been squeaking into 89. But we played the Duchess in Leeds, Duchess of York it was. And it was a good old gig, was that. And I think it was us and Acid Rain that night. But it was rammed. And we'd gone for it this time. We bought these flash pots again. We haven't learned our lesson by this point. And we got the flash pots all along the bottom of the stage. I think we got about 6, 7, 8 of these things, all daisy chained along the front of the stage, and another car battery. And the idea is we go on, it's probably got the big old scrungy noise type start before we used to go in something. And we're going to do that. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 pop. All the pyro's going to go off, and away we go. So, you know, this is going to be like Venom, ECT kind of start, right? So off we go. My job, as Steve will tell you, my job was to let these pyros off, right? So I only had one job: press the button, bang, then get on with making a racket. So off we go, rammed gig, blah, 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 blah. And from the back of the crowd, some bloke on top of the crowd, surf rolling forwards, right? And he's rolling towards the stage. So my job is, only got it, one job, hit the button, right? That's all I'm going to ever do. I think Steve's desperately tried to tell me, cut, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. This guy rolls over, pops off the top of the crowd, literally lands on the stage at the point when I went and pressed the button, bang, up goes all the pyro. And rather than this glorious flash of pyrotechnic like I've got behind me now, all you saw was a mushroom cloud as this bloke absorbed all of the magnesium for us. And you just saw, up it went, loads of smoke coming out from underneath him. He stands up, he's on fire, he's exiting stage left at some alarming rate and was off to Leeds Royal Infirmary, where I believe he had some reasonably good burns. And so that was it. That's the point when we decided we better stop doing this because it's just ridiculous, isn't it? So by this point, we've tried to empty one pub, we've blown a hole in the roof, and now we've just set somebody on fire. So at this point, our own health and safety legislation kicked in, and we've never used pyro since. So there you go. Health and safety is a glorious thing. I'm sure there's a very good reason why it exists and why you now have to accredit your pyrotechnics should you want to be Motley Crue and use them or something like that. So there you go. There's a little trip down memory lane for you and the stupidity of life in Lawnmower Deth. So other than that, don't forget to go and pre-order your album. Don't forget to buy your tickets for London. I'll put you some links in the bio bit for this, and I'm sure we'll come up with some more stories next week for you if we can drag them out of the recesses of our own minds. Have fun, everyone. See you all later.